Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered how to make your own code editor? You can see in the video that if you click on the C++, you can see that it's executing the hello world in C++. If you do it in Java, you will see that it's executing in Java. Also, if you do with Python, it will do with Python. So have you ever wondered how can you create something like this? I have created one nice tutorial how to create that. So first you have to use a backend to deploy the backend code. So we'll use something called judge.o to deploy our backend. So the thing is our backend will take, so you can see the diagram to understand how the entire thing works. So first we have a backend where the judge.o will be deployed. We have the code editor, which is the front end. So first the front end will send a request of our code, and then it will send a token, and then the code editor will send a second request, and then we'll get the response in the code. Now you might ask me why they do it like that. Why, if they send the request, why they don't give us the response immediately? The thing is, suppose one code takes like 30 seconds to execute. Do you really want to wait for 30 seconds for the code to work? No, right? So that's why they send a token immediately, and then you can retry the same token again and again till you get the response. And suppose what happens is the code becomes timeout. Then if you just want to get the same response, the response in one request, then you just have to wait forever, right? So to mitigate this problem, what we do is first we send the request, then we get the token, then we send the second request with the token, and then we get the output. And we can keep trying this request again and again till we get a response. So this is the basically the main core logic behind this architecture, how this works. So we'll use something called judge.o. It's open source code which will execute our code, and it will give us a response. So you can read more about that in this website. So as you can see from the documentation, it's a robust, scalar, and open source online code execution system that can be used to build a wide range of applications that need to have online code execution features. How we'll proceed? First, we will install their backend into our local machine. If you want, you can also deploy this code into a online hosting like Google hosting. So I have created this tutorial. How can you host this code executor into Google Cloud? But you can do the same. For just now, we'll just install the backend first and see how it works. Then we will move to the front end, and then we make this editor. So let's get started. I hope you guys are excited about this project. So first let's get started. Let's go to the installation. As you can see, we have self-hosted, and we have shared instance, we have dedicated instance. So let's see if you want to deploy it. So you can first install Docker and Docker Compose. I have it installed, so I'll just copy their GitHub repo into my local machine. So let's make a Let's make a directory code editor, cd code editor, and git clone. And now let's open this project into our IntelliJ IDEA. So open project, and now document hobby editor and Jajo. Let's open this one. So as you can see, our code is here. It's funny that we have, if you see the documentation in the GitHub, you will find that in the reference they have our tutorials in the list of the tutorials, so which I'm really proud of. Thanks Jajo for listing my tutorials here, and I hope it helps somebody. Okay, so first let's install Redis. And then we will sleep for 10. Let's wait for 10 seconds. And now let's try to run the docker compose upd. Oh, so our installation is finished. So let's see docker images. We can see that we have the judge here, and docker yes. As you can see that we have our judge here. So maybe let's see, this should be the IP address, I think. Let's open the dummy client with that. Yeah, and you can see that it's working. So let's close all the other tabs here. So as you can see, so we have installed our let's make it the right. Yeah, so you can see that now we have installed our system here in our local machine, and this is our base URL that we need to hit. And if we hit something like this C++ code, and let's try to run it. As you can see, first we run this code. we posted at this IP address, and we got this token, and then we hit this endpoint submissions with this token, and we get the response that hello judge. So if we try to use some other language, like for example, okay, let's first let's give something else. So studying Neil Madhav. So we got hello judge. So now we should get hello Neil Madhav. Let's see, and you can see that we are getting hello Neil Madhav. So our code is working fine. Let's try to use some other language. For that, we can find the list of language. Let's see their documentation. If we can find their, how can we which API we need to hit to get all the languages. Get started, flavors, authentication. We don't need authentication right now. You can implement it later if you want. Language ID. So, yeah, so we have to hit this endpoint, get languages. So let's try to hit our IP at, so our local host where we have hosted our Jajo, and you can see we can find all the language. So let's try to run with Python. So what is the Python? Python is 70. So let's put the language ID as 70 and print nil is here. So let's run this code, and you can see that nil is here is presenting. Let's do something bit more challenging, like for I in range of 10. It's not challenging, but just like to test something else. Hello world, print I. As you can see, we have got 0 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we have a new line at the end of each. Amazing, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this IP address, and we're going to make our own code editor. So you can select Java, you can select Python, you can select C++, and you can hit this backend and you get the token, and then you send the token again, like we have told you in this, like I have described in this flowchart. So you can understand it here a little bit better. One second. So as you can see from this reading, that when you write a code, we pass the code as a post request to this IP address, and we get a response as a token. And now when you do a get request to the same IP address and submissions slash token, then we got the API response, and that's it. So we just need to do it. So yeah, so that like this is our IP address and this is our code editor. So first we have to send the request with the code with the language ID, and then it will give us the token as you have seen here. Like here you can see that first we hit the source code and we got the token, and if we try to send the token, we'll get the response. So first we have to hit it with this request body and then get the token. So this part we are going to implement it into our front end code. So hi guys, so far we have installed the backend of our app. So let's see if we go to docker ps, we can see that our app is working. And if we go to our this site, and dummy client, you can see the code is working fine. So now what we want to do is we want to create a Vue.js client so that we can execute this code, and we can choose the language like Python, Java, C++, and we can execute the code using this API. So let's start creating that. So first we will create a Vue project. So let's create the Vue project first. So Vue create editor UI. Let's choose Vue 3. And today we'll use this plugin. It's not plugin, it's like a package in Vue. It's called Vue Balma Brace. It's editor that will help us to edit the code. So we'll install it after we install the Vue project. So as you can see, our project is now almost ready. So first we will run this code into our editor. Let's close the other project. So as you can see that we have the basic project in the Vue. Let's try to run it. npm run serve. So it's working fine. So in the home page, we will install this this package. So let's install this. Let's copy this and run it. Okay, it's running. And we don't need the hello world thing. In the home page, we can delete this component, and we can also delete this too, and then we can copy this one. Let's see if we can find this package that we have just installed. So yeah, it's I think available. Let's see. It's working. So, and let's copy this code and Let's change the mode like a little bit. You can make it nice. We don't need the mode of JSON. So let's see if it is working. Yeah, we can see it's working. Hello world. It's very basic editor, but that will do for now. We can try to make it as Python. Let's see if it works for Python. So definition, hello world. Working fine. Print 90. Okay. So it is working fine. Now we can do one thing. We can try to, let's try Python. So as you can see that language ID for Python, and so we can now see Python. So Python, the ID is 70, so we can make a data, we can make return, we can make a map, so language map, Python will be 70. Okay, so now what we'll do is we will try to hit the API by calling the submission post request. So we can make it as 70, and we can say print hello in Python, and we can now try to run this. So as you can see, we have this first we send this request body, and then we get the token, and then we hit this API, and we get this. So let's first we can declare our base URL as this one. So let's see, base URL will be this one, and language map is this, and now we can create some methods. Make submission. So here we'll submit the code, and so for that we need to we can integrate Axios to do that. Okay, so what you can do is so we need to send this request body. So for that, so let's try to send this request body. So let's copy it here. We need to send this body. Okay, what we can do is we can also make it as a data. So I can make it as request body will be this data, and we need to hit the API here. What we can do, we can make a button, submit, and on click we can call this I think this should be this one only, and we can call console.log submit just colon. Sorry guys. Yeah. So now it is working. Silly mistake. Anyway, so now we can see that there should be a button, and if I click the button, we can see submit is working. So let's do one thing now. Let's try to get the data. Let's first integrate Axios, because we need to make an API call. So Axios npm. So you can first install Axios. So once we have the Axios, we will send this data and call the post API. So we have integrated this. So let's try to get, let's see if we can get Axios from here. So import Axios from Axios, working fine. So now we'll do Axios dot post, and let's send the base URL. Base URL slash, we have to call this submissions, and we have to call the request body with the this dot request body, and then let's get the result. Console.log result. So here should we get the token. So we should get the token here. So now the request body has the source code, which is hard coded. So if this API works, then what we will do is we will change this source code from this to something, to the code here. The code we will get from the brace, inside the brace component. So now, and also let's catch it. Log error. So now let's see if it works. You can just submit it, and yeah, we got a token. Amazing, right? So we can see the token is here. So we can make one more here we can make one more variable called token. First it will be null, and we can save the token as will be result dot data, because you can see that we have the result and data is inside data. We have the token, so data and token, so data dot token. And we can also console log this one. Token. And now we have to call the Axios again, but remember we have to give some timeout here. So because we don't want to call it immediately, so once we get the token, maybe we can wait for 5 seconds, and then we can call the other API to get the response. So how we have to wait for 5 seconds. How can we wait for 5 seconds? So maybe we can have something in Axios wait for 5 seconds. So this one can wait for 5 seconds. We can use this code. You can also copy it yourself. It's very easy. Test function, new promise, resolve, set timeout, and 3 seconds. So we're waiting for 3 seconds like this. So you can see it better this way. It's very easy. So we'll just use this same thing here. So first we can wait for 5 seconds. So here, or maybe let's make it, I think 3 seconds will be enough. So let's try with 3 seconds, and let's, so we can, so let's rename it, wait for 3 seconds. So we can just wait here because we don't return anything else here. So and let's make it this. And now we will call again the Axios. And now we'll call the base URL. And this URL, and now we'll call the other API, which you can see here, submissions and the token. So we can call submissions, and this will be the token. Token. And now we'll then result, and let's now console log the result. Console.log result. Okay, and if we get some error, we'll catch it. So we can just copy paste this code here, and now let's run it. Click the button and let's see if we can get some response here. Let's just close, and yeah, we got some result also, and the result is, yeah, we got the even response. So we can even print it here. So we can copy, we can like save the response into a variable. The token is null, and then response. First it will be null, and when you get the data, so let's save it. This dot response will be result dot data. So we can see the data will be, so you have to save the stud out of data. Data and stud out. And we can also check the status here. So we got some errors. What is the error? Oh yeah, so this dot response. So let's just click it, and we are waiting for the response. And now we can see that we have the response here. So it looks pretty shitty, but let's improve it little bit. We can improve, and we have to also integrate the code here. So let's just do one thing. Let's just test one more thing, that if it's working or not. Hello in Python, simple coding. So let's see if we can get the response. So yeah, we can get the response here. That's fine. So we'll use some bootstrap to make it look nicer right now, and we can select the language here, and we have to select like print nil mother. So we have to print this here first. So how can you get that? So in the brace, we need to first get it from this one. So I'm not sure how to get that, but let's see if they have some documentation. They have no documentation of that, but let's think how to get it. Yes, editor. So maybe what we can do is, I think there's a lot of things missing here. So maybe we need to select some other editor. Or can we find this one? This div ID? Maybe on collect. Console log. Let's see if it works. We got some data. Oh, we can find it here. So maybe in a text. Wow, amazing. So we can find the inner text just like this. So for example, if we do print nil mother, and if we enter it, so we'll find it, print nil mother. That's amazing. So we can just use the inner text and that will be enough. But we also have this one. We don't want this one, like, because you will have this print mother and like something like this. You will have this 1 2 3 4, which we don't want. So let's see, because we will have this one. So we'll have to delete this 1 2 3 4 5 and then get only this one. So maybe what we can do is, you can see there should be some S identifier. Maybe see, maybe we can have this as content. Maybe this will work. Document by class names. First, this can also work, I think. Let's see if it works. Yeah, so we got this one is content, but here we have all these things. Maybe you can find dot inner text. Let's stop the calls right now. for now till we debug it. Yeah, so this should be working. And let's do print male mother. And this, and let's see. So this is working fine. And now we can get this one. So instead of, so now we can comment it out. We can again uncomment it. And now instead of request body, so what we can do is the request body dot source code will be this inner text. And now let's try see if it works fine or not. So if we do something like print hello from simple coding, and let's submit it. So we got this data and the result will be, yeah, great, awesome. Isn't it amazing? Now it is working fine. Recording, it is great to get the output. So we can just select it. Let's wait. And you can see that it's working, which is what we wanted. So now let's make it a little bit nice. What we can do is first we can use some bootstrap and make it center. So let's go some bootstrap. We can also install the plugin for Vue, but I think this is easier for me to install. So I can just copy the CSS here in the public HTML. So in the title, we can paste the CSS and we can paste the JS here. So now we can do is we can go to the update view. So here we can make a div class equal to row, and we can put it here. Inside, and we can do some grid. So we can just search grid. So we can have this container. We can give class 6 for this, and we can leave 3 and 3 in the left and right. So we can give class 3, we can give left 3 and right 3, and we can put it inside, and let's remove it. And we can keep this button and the response in the right site. So let's see how it looks. It looks something like this, and we have this button here. So let's also make the button nice. Class button submit. The button will be primary, and why it is outgoing. So we can close this one for now, and let's make height. It will be submit, and we can make it first loading. So we can have a variable is loading, and first we will be, let's set it as false. So its loading will be false, and when we make the submission, so here we set the set loading equal to true, loading will be true, and when we get the response, we will set it to false. So loading complete, and we can also set it loading equal to false, and so if it is loading, then we show the response, or we just show else. So it's not loading, then we show the response, or we see and or we just show loading. So let's see if it works. Print hello world. So if we just submit it, it's a loading, and then you say hello world. We can give some padding here. Margin top will be 10 pixel. Okay, nice. I'm not sure why this is coming, so let's ignore it for now. Yeah, so this is basically the code editor. It doesn't look very nice, but we can also make it look nicer. We can, how can you make it look better? So let's check an editor like id.fixforkids. So we can make it look like this, and we can have some language selection, and we can run it like this. So if we look at like this, so we have submit button. We can maybe run it here and submit it. So we can maybe put it inside. After brace, we can put it down and make it run. And bootstrap icons. So let's copy this. We can use this one. And so here, after run, we can add this SVG to make it look more better. You can copy it from here. So let's see how it looks. Bit better. So, and then we don't need to make it like blue. We can make it bit small, make it 20 and make it 20. So run, and yeah. And you can make the background as you can choose any other libraries that you want. Okay, it's looking a bit better now. Hello world name. Okay, good. So now let's try to use Java or Python here. So like here we can have a bootstrap, and we can have a drop down menu. Yeah, exactly. So this is what you want. We want to select. Select Python and C++, and we can also select Java. So for Python, let's give a 70, and for C++, let's see, it's 76, and for Java, it is 62. Let's see how it looks, and it is called, let's call it selected, and let's delete it, and let's also move it inside the main div. and let's give some margin here. So awesome. So now we have to trigger some function here, and we don't need it to be that big. Width will be 50%. So yeah, this one looks good. And Python. And on select of this, we have to change the language also. So this is the select form, and this is the code editor. And this is the submit button result. So now what you can do is now Python, and now let's select C++, and then we have to trigger event. So on change, language. So let's make this function. On selecting different language, and we can pass also a v model here, I think. So let's see, select v model in select view v model. Maybe you can pass this v model here, language, and let's register it here and make default to 70. And let's see console log here, console.log.language. So now let's see if it works. It says change language is not a function, but we have to find change language. So maybe select on change view JS. So yeah, we have to use on at the rate of change. Change. And we have to pass event here. And let's see what event we are getting. I don't think it's required, but let's see if we are getting here. So let's now select. Yes, so we are getting 76 here for C++ and 62 for Java, so which is amazing. So we don't need to pass @event, this event one. We can just remove it because we will get it from the language vModel. So now we have changed the language. So when you change the language, we have to also change the mode in the here. So we can change, we can make it also a dynamic, like this dot language, and by default it will be let's make it current language, and let's make it Python by default. So let's make it Python by default. But when we change the language, so we have this map. So 70 is for Python. We have to reverse the map because we will get this ID and take the language. So 70 will be Python, and you can see 76 is C++, 76 is C++, and 62 is Java. So 62 will be Java. So we have this language map, and so we have to pass the language ID as a string. So we have to also change this dot request body dot language ID will be this dot language to string. So let's make it also language ID for easy understanding. So let's make it language ID, and it's also language ID. So let's see if it works. Python, C++, language ID is 76, and let's see if we still get the syntax of Python. So Python, so we can see for C++, we can, let's test if it get highlighted. Yeah, I think it's getting highlighted. And if you do Python, print like definition hello, we should not get. Also getting this one. So so we have not yet selected that. So brace mode, we have to also change this language. This language will be this dot language map and this dot language ID. So let's see if it works. Python and C++. What is the problem? Oh, we don't need this B model. We just need to change this mode. I think we don't have C++ mode, but let's check if we have Java. For Java, I think it should work. So class Java. So here we should not see the Python thing. Hello, we should not see the Python syntax thing. Yes, so it is not showing. So for CPP, maybe it's not C++, it is maybe CPP. So, oh, like this is not defined for, I think, in this editor. But still we can check, like we can now, let's try test with the C++. So we have this code here. So we can try to now run it. Oh yeah, so we have this, so we don't have to get something, but we can just hello, Neil is here, and let's see if it works. Yeah, so also working for C++. Amazing, right? So let's try for Java. So just let's see the GitHub repo of the Judge Zero, and maybe they have something. How to send the Java thing. So let's next see. Oh, we have to maybe send main class, and let's see. Yeah, it's working. Hello world in Java. Awesome. Python, and we can and we can select Python, and it should work. Hello world. And now let's select C++, and let's to be sure CPP, and let's select Java, and now let's select and hello world from Java. So like, as you can see, our code can execute all the three language, so which is really amazing. And this is using Vue, so you can obviously you can choose your own editor. You can try to preload it, and maybe this is not a really good editor, so you can try with some other editor which will look nice. But the main idea is that we need to send the code into our backend API first. Um and once we get the token, we need to send it to our, we need to wait for 3 seconds, and then we need to get the response from submission API. So which is really amazing. So you have I hope this helped you guys, and you learned about Vue and how to work with the API and how to build your own code editor. And you can go ahead with this. You can make it in React. So if you're a beginner in the Vue.js or React, you can. This is a really nice way to make something nice, which is practical and real life based. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And if you like it, please subscribe my channel and put a like. And if you have put some comment, show some love. And I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Have a good day.